Good morning. Today, what came tapping on my door, but none other than Edgar Allan Poe, and here he is. Now, there we go. Fine, handsome man, if ever I saw one. Looks a little like me, I think. Except he looks Victorian and I don't. Anyway, this is not the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. It's only 67 tales. Amongst which are, of course, the famous Raven, which is a poem, which I've never actually read. Also, The Pit and the Pendulum, which I have read. The Masque of the Red Death, which I've also read, which tends to break my rules somewhat. And also The Cask of Amontillado, which I have read. In fact, I've read most of Edgar Allan Poe, except for his poetry. Now, he was the virtually inventor of the horror genre, and also the mystery detective books, such as The Murder in the Rue Morgue, etc. Anyway, these were done as movies much later. Such as The Cask of Amontillado, which was, of course, starred Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, and The Fall of the House of Usher, which were monumental colour movies, but very, very short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. In fact, The Cask of Amontillado is only 3 pages long, but somehow they turn it into an hour-and-a-half movie. Anyway, I like Poe's style, even though he was sort of lacking on sort of storylines, and you know, they were meant to be terrifying, but they weren't ever terrifying, especially not today by today's standard. He was superseded largely by H.P. Lovecraft in his tales of Polynesia and the ancient ones from Polynesia, in various stories about, well, one of which was made into a story called The Dunwich Horror, which was, he actually never wrote a book called The Dunwich Horror. Anyway, let's stick to Edgar Allan Poe for the moment. I like his style, I really do. I really like his style. And, you know, the books are very well written, but the subject matter isn't that good. But I'm not taking anything away from him at all. Anyway, to conclude, I'm going to start The Raven for you, because something about The Raven, although it's not scary at all, it's very poetical and lyrical. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, whilst I nodded gently napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping on my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping on my chamber door, "only this and nothing more." Distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden who the angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. Anyway, it goes on and on and on and on ad nauseum, but actually, you know, it's not bad really. I mean, there's many pages. I don't know why they never made a movie out of this, I really don't. Anyway, inevitably it ends with the famous line, which is taking me ages to reach because it's a really long poem. I didn't realise it was this long. Thus in discourse the lovers wiled away. No, that's the wrong bit. I think I've done 2. Anyway, it ends with "Saith the Raven, nevermore." Anyway, I think maybe you should read this because it's easygoing, it's well written, and it's easy to read. And you don't have to read all 67 of the tales. You can just read 4 or 5, you know. And I would strongly recommend that you make it probably The Cask of Amontillado, which was fun. Also, the probably well, Fall of the House of Usher maybe, and The Masque of the Red Death. I would recommend that completely, which ends inevitably with and the Mask of the Red Death held an inimitable dominion over all the land, etc., etc. They all had good endings, if not all good beginnings. Anyway, I don't know what I'll be doing next. I had decided pretty much to do the entire Library of Congress, which has 29 million books in it, but I think that's rather too much for me. So in the meantime, I'll say goodbye, and I hope you enjoyed this review.